Hi, hello, it's Pip here from queenpipcards.com. Thank you very much for watching today. Well, you've asked me, how did I do this? Would I have a video on this? And so I thought, well, I better answer that question then. So I'm not going to do this exact same plaque, this wall plaque. It's just a MDF plaque like this that I bought from my local hobby store. So I'm not going to do this exact same one because that would be boring. But I'm going to show you the technique, how I did it, put it all together, etc. on a different shape. This time we're going to do a heart shape because I decided to buy one of those and I thought, well, this would be a good chance to use it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare my base. So I've got a couple of scraps here of my craft sheet, so I didn't have to get my palette stuff out. Don't need a lot. You just need some basic Common Garden acrylic paint, white acrylic paint. Oops, she says, splattering it all over herself. Oh, that is really splattery. Oh dear. There we go. That's probably enough. So you're going to use some paint and you're going to use a sponge. So normally these comes in packs of 3 and I've cut mine into a third, and I'm just going to literally daub it off onto the craft sheet like this. There we go. Get some on my sponge, get it working, and then I went with the grain. So go with the grain of the plaque that you're using. Now I didn't go all the way to the edges on the other one. I kind of left some bits blank because I wanted it to be, you know, a bit weathered and stuff. I'm not sure if I want this one to be quite so weathered. I don't know. I'm debating that at the moment. But it doesn't take long to dry this stuff. So by the time I've finished explaining to you what we're doing, it will be ready to go. So literally we're just popping it on, and all this does really is prep the wood. You can stamp directly onto it because it is actually a nice soft wood, but this just sort of preps it a little bit more and gives it that nice base for stamping on. Yeah, I don't know whether I'm going to leave some of it. Some of it will naturally kind of show through a little bit more than the others. Yeah, I like that. So hold it up, see what it's gonna look like when it's in your hand or on the door. Okay, and then I'm just adding a smidge more white here to the center because this is where I'm going to be doing most of my stamping. And then what we're going to do is we're then going to colour a bit. Okay, so like in this one, you can see I had a faded blue coming through the centre of that. Well, that's just using one of our re-inkers, which I know you can't get at the moment, but you will be able to. They are coming back, I promise you. But I know lots of you have already got re-inkers at home, or what you can do is you can squish out ink from your pad onto a block and then add that quite easily. Now this re-inker is my old olive, and you can see as you mix it with the paint, it goes a nice light colour. Now this one I am going to go sort of across. I'll just do some dabby. Just want to get a feeling of a field in the background here. I'm going to do something different with this. It's not going to be a seascape. Okay, a bit more green, I think. You've got to be careful it doesn't look like it's gone mouldy. You don't want it. You don't want mould going on in here. Just want a bit of greenery, bit of green colour, and you can just smush it around so it sort of blends in nicely. No different really from blending on cardstock. You're just using paint as your medium instead. There we go, that's quite a nice gentle green, I think. There. Lovely. And this sponge will just wash away the acrylic paint on it because it's just water based, so like our inks, it should come off. There we go. Just giving that a bit of texture. Right, okay, so let's get the messy stuff out of the way. Oh, put that down there. Okay, so that's all the messy stuff done. So the stamp sets I'm going to be using today are Let It Ride and Crackle Paint. So crackle paint just gives you that beautiful background look, but I might not even do the whole of the heart with it like I did on this one. So on this one I did the crackle paint all over to give that sort of weathered old look. But this time I'm not really going for a weathered look, I'm kind of just going for a background look. So this time I might just use the crackle paint around the edges, and I found the easiest thing to do is to put your big background stamps directly onto your Stamparatus plate. That allows you to be more precise where you're going. You can actually turn the thing over and do it directly onto here if you want to. And you've got something that's thinner and less heavy to hold on to. So I like my Stamparatus for that. And then I'm going to go with Let It Ride, because my sister loved horse riding, and hopefully you'll have seen that I'm doing a big Stampathon. So at the end of September 2019 I'll be doing a massive Stampathon trying to make 1,500 cards in one day. Which is why I can't accept any donations of cards. Lots of people have been saying, oh, I can send you cards, but that's not the point. The point is that it's a Stampathon, a bit like a marathon, and I need to actually do it on the day. So we're looking to make 1,500 cards on the day. And yeah, if you can sponsor me or come along and sponsor a set of cards and then make them, then that would be good. Everybody can take home 5 cards if they wish, or just redonate them into the pot. So that we have a massive count up at the end, and hopefully we've got 1,500. So that's why I thought I would do this, because it reminds me of my sister, and I'm kind of missing her at the moment. So let's get some cardstock, and I'm using quite a large piece because I want to stamp this image here and then die cut that out, and I'm not quite sure which die cut I want to use yet, so we'll stamp a couple and see which one we prefer. This is Early Espresso that I'm using. It's just a nice dark horse colour. So we'll stamp that in the middle, because as I said, I don't know which die is going to work best. And then we'll stamp that one too. Maybe this way. Okay, so now I've stamped that twice. The dies I've got here that I'm using are the layering oval framelets and the stitch shape framelets dies, and I still don't know quite which one I prefer, so that's why I stamped it twice. So I've got the stitched one, which will do that, or the plain one, which will do pretty much the same. That's what's going to come out, or I've got the scalloped one, which is going to take in and do the whole of the tail. So I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to go for. I think I'm going to do the scalloped one. I'm still not sure. It'll depend on what it looks like when it goes on when it actually goes on here. Now this is pretty much dry. It could probably do with just a smidge more, but since we're doing this, I don't want to stop and wait for it to dry. So I'm lazy like that. So we're going to go straight in, and we're going to go in with, this is Mossy Meadow for my ink, which you can't see because there you go, it's Mossy Meadow. Looks really dark. It looks as dark as the Early Espresso, and it is quite dark green. And we're just going to go in and we're just going to stamp some trees in here, and then I think I'm going to stamp off second generation trees over here. There we go, leave that for the moment. Then I'm going to come in again with the Early Espresso. And this time I'm just going to stamp these horses here. And yeah, they're going to go over the trees, but I don't care. Stamp these sort of here-ish. There we go. Like that. There we go. We could even put a couple a bit further down like this. There we go. Just so we've got some stuff going on. And now I haven't re-inked my trees, and I'm just going to stamp off over there and a bit over here, just so it looks like we've got some trees going on in the background. Okay, because my horse is probably going to sit about here-ish, so we're going to lose some of those horses and some of those trees, so we can decide where we want to put him at in a later date. Then I'm just going to, I just want to give him a little bit of tone. So I'm going to use my blender pen, which it looks like this, and we'll give the grass a bit of tone as well. I'm going to use my blender pen to just take some of this early espresso ink that's in the lid. You can just squeeze the lid together to get the early espresso coming through onto the lid. And we're not going to need a lot, to be honest, because it's going to also come out from his just from the ink that's already on there. So we're just going to pop this in. I keep saying gonna, I'm so sorry. Don't know what's the matter with me. I'm going to do this and just add some darkness in where he would be darker. Not much, just a little bit. And then using the other end of your blender pen, you just rub these on a bit of paper, a bit of scrap, and they'll come off. I'm just going to just ground him, okay, because he does sort of need to be grounded. Even though his feet are off the ground, we need to know that he is part of the landscape behind him, I feel. And I've pretty much already decided, haven't I, now, that it's going to be this one, because that's the one I've just painted. So obviously in my head it needs to be this one. Now you do need to leave these to dry. You can see, hey, can you see that some of these things are still glistening? So the trees are glistening here and here. Okay, yeah. So I think he's going to sit nicely there. All right, we're going to pop him up on some dimensionals. Could cut some trees out to go behind, but I don't think so. I think what we're going to do is we're going to crackle paint up the background here. And I would like it to be in a very, very fine green. So I'm reaching for my soft seafoam, because you just want to bring that green view in. And then I just ink my crackle paint, and I don't really worry about going too close to the edges because we don't really want the edges to be seen. And then I turn this, now which way am I going to do it? This way probably. Do that there, because I just want to touch it. Touch it to this edge. Yeah, so it's just got it on the edge, but without being. Has that gone on? No, not really. So we'll do a bit more of this. There we go. So I'm trying not to get it too much in the on the edge, because I don't want a hard line. But it's so faint, it's difficult to see if I've actually made anything on there or not. So we'll put a bit more on in the middle. And I'm just going to touch it to that bottom piece there. Oh yeah, now it's coming. And the good thing with crackle is it doesn't have to be precise. That's the whole point, isn't it? There we go. Can you see that coming up now? I think it just needed a bit more ink. Keep going. And you just keep working your way around until you've got an edge that you're happy with. That's nice. That's nice. There we go. But try not to press. Oh, sorry. Oh, heavens. Try not to press too hard so that you get a line. Now, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can. Okay. So you can see the crackle paint's just on the edges, but not in the centre, which is what I wanted. Okay, so that's with the soft seafoam. See how easy it is to it just comes together so beautifully. And then I'm going to pop him up on there, and then I'm going to stamp. Here we go. The words "Take Life by the Reins," but I'm going to stamp that in Mossy Meadow just so that we have a bit of contrast between the horse and the sentiment. You could stamp it onto coloured cardstock, of course. You can do that too. And so this will be a plain circle. There. And then we'll just run that one through. I'll do that over here, you don't need to worry about that. As if by magic, take life by the reins. And that, I'd like to pop up there. Yeah, see where I'm going? But I might just give it a bit of sponging actually, but I don't have my sponge. Where's my dauber? So I'm just going to take some soft sky and just tip the edge of this. Not soft sky, what am I talking about? Soft sea foam. Got blue on the brain now. And just work my way around the edges. So this project takes a little longer than making a card, obviously, because you're making a piece of home decor. But it's very worth it. I might even come in a little bit more than that. Give this a bit of life. And you could even, if you wanted to, stick that on your crackle paint. So that this, where you've got some crackle paint left, just pop it down on top like that. Lift it up. There we go. That's nice. Got a bit of crackle paint going on there. And then I can just bring this green into this so it all matches. And I know it's not the old olive, but that doesn't matter. Just need to, it was just a bit too white, I feel, to go onto the painted surface, because the paint isn't actually white anymore. It's gone sort of soft. Obviously where the paint and the wood and everything's showing through, and the stamps and whatever. There we go. Bit of blending. There we go. That I want to have clear though, so it's easy to see. So I don't want to crackle the horse. There we go. There we go. So that's the horse with a bit of daubing on. Just a bit of sponging around the edges. I love our sponge daubers. And our sponges, to be honest. There we go. Right, so now I'm going to get my dimensionals, which I have a whole new packet of mini, and I do have some new ones of the big ones, but I can't. They're still in my case. I was very fortunate that my beautiful, lovely table mates on the ship gave me all their dimensionals that they'd won in Spin the Wheel. So generous, because they found out that we had a shortage, although hopefully I think they should be back this week, which will be great, and which means I don't have to stint on my dimensionals, because actually this needs a bit more support, because it's going to hold the, I know it's a lot, but and I wouldn't normally put quite so many on, but I'd got my spacing wrong. There we go. So that will go there. He will go up there. And, you know, you could always add extra swooshy bits. I've got his greenery's not quite right, but never mind. We'll put him on there, I think. There or there. A bit there, I think. Looks like he's coming from the same direction as the rest of them. There we go. And then we're going to add this to the back of here. So I don't need a dimension, I just need dimensionals on this top bit. Here and here. Take those off. Add a bit of glue. Somewhere is my glue. There we go. A little bit of multi-purpose glue, which is also coming back shortly. Hurrah! Take life by the reins. Make it straight, Pip. That'll do. Careful, because it's a bit wet. Okay. And then what I really would like to do is add some of those little heart epoxy drops. So I just think these lovely little epoxy hearts are really nice, because they're clear, so they don't detract or take away or cover up anything that you've got, but it will fit the heart theme that we've got going on with the plaque itself. couple of hearts, and then we can put a larger heart behind, and it will stick on the wood. There we go. Is that enough? Maybe some more, maybe a bigger one. Come up here, and then a smaller one. You know, you don't want to go too mad. Calm down, Pip. Just to give it a little piece of glisten, so that as the light catches that, you see those? Just see them there. And actually when they stand up, they're quite distinctive, because they show the, you can really see the crackle paint through there and the wood grain through them, which is nice. So there you go. That's my home decor heart with horses, or horse, well, horses, because there's some more in the background. So it doesn't take a lot to make it look a bit different. Obviously this one I had more embellishments on in terms of die cuts. So this one I die cut the pieces that go with the sailing home suite. And this was the colours of the sailing home suite. This one I just took a stamp set and decided to run with it, and just brought in the dies and the little embellishment bits. So there you go. Hope you've enjoyed that today. Come back again. I'm always here doing techniques, cards, home decor pieces, boxes, you name it, I give it a go. Thanks ever so much for watching, especially if you're watching all the way through to the end, because YouTube loves that. So thanks ever so much for sticking with me all the way to here. Anything you want to buy, apart from the plaques, which I can't sell you because I don't actually have them, but everything else that you've seen on today's video, you can purchase from me in my shop below. All the links down below in the description, so please just click on the little arrow so you can see more links directly to my shop and to my website. So it would be lovely to see you again, and thanks ever so much for being here. Take care. Bye.